Hello, beautiful people. How are you doing? Welcome to Beyond the Brand, Moments That Made Us with Hannah G. This is a place where we tell and we listen to branding stories. When you think about a brand that you love, that you admire, that is so successful, that is so powerful, I'll tell you what most of us see. We see the success, we see the glamour, we see the beauty, we see the money, we see what I like to call the tip of the iceberg. There's something we don't see, and this is the thing that is beneath those brands, because every brand has had to go through some things for it to get to where it is. And usually it is the hard work, the persistence, the late nights, the sweats, the blood, the constant rejection, the fatigue, the failures. All these things are the things that brands have to go through before they give you a very beautiful brand that you now see today. And so we're going to be speaking to these brands. We're going to be listening to these kind of stories, because I know very well that brands are built around three kind of stories: a love story, which is the passion; a backstory, which is their own experiences; and a gap story, which is the solutions they bring to the table. I want you to go, grab your tea, come right back, and let us talk about the moments that made us. So welcome back to Beyond the Brand, Moments That Made Us. And the story today is about the woman in the window and why you should speak up. And this story is set in a classroom when I was 12 years old and in 6th grade, Umoja Primary School in Tigoni. I grew up in Tigoni, very beautiful place called Brackenhurst in Limuru. And I went to this local school where a lot of kids were needy. In fact, I think I can really point and pick the kids that wore shoes. There were actually a handful. There were not many. If you've been to the areas of Tigoni and Limuru, it is very, very beautiful. Very many rich and wealthy people and families live there. But also, it's a place where a lot of tea is grown. And also you find that very many people who live around there, the people who have less and are less privileged, they work in the tea plantations. And so the school I went to, most of the kids there, their parents worked in the tea plantations. So it was a very needy sort of school. And I went to that school. I grew up in a very beautiful home, but we didn't have much. We had love. We had enough. We never went to bed hungry, not at all. We had enough to carry us through, but we were definitely not affluent, not at all. And so I went to this school. I wore shoes. My sisters wore shoes, and a few families also had shoes to wear. We actually had way more than most of the kids who went to this school. But I remember when I was in 6th grade, I used to have a very early lesson. It used to be English, because I even remember the teacher who used to teach us in that class. And I like sitting at the front. And so, of course, I used to sit at the front, and I would sit by the window. And there's a story that really shaped my life as a woman that I remember so vividly, as though it was yesterday. And in 6th grade, every single day after parade, at about 9:30, during the first lesson, something would happen, and it would happen every single day, Monday to Friday. I would look through the window. I used to sit near the window, and there was a woman I would see every single day, and the story played out the same way every day. I can even see the woman right now as I'm talking to you. She was very light. Her skin was very light, and she used to wear black braids. And she would get out of the house. She would pour water from a bucket every single day. It was like it was scripted. She would pour water outside, and then shortly after, a man would come out, who I presume is a husband, because he's a person I saw every single day. The man would come out, and the man would actually beat her. And I saw that every single day. It would happen on Monday, it would happen on Tuesday, it would happen on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. She would get out, pour the water on the floor. Maybe it's water that the husband was using to shower, I don't know. The husband would come out in a shirt. He's going to work, he's definitely going somewhere, and he would actually beat this woman. He would beat her, He would sometimes pull her hair. He would shake her. I would see this. And this was very, let's say, weird for me also because I'd actually never seen this before. Again, I grew up in a Christian home. My dad is a pastor. My dad was a pastor then. My mom is a pastor's wife. We used to go to church. Our home was about prayers and welcoming people and eating together. We had so much laughter in our home and so much peace. In fact, I tell people this, and sometimes maybe they think I'm not telling the truth, but I never once heard my dad shouting at my mom. Did they fight? They probably did. I never saw it. They would go into their bedroom. We lived in a 3-bedroom house. They would go into their bedroom. They probably would fight because definitely there are things that maybe dad would say this, mom would say this, but we would never hear it. We would never see it. So I never saw a man hit a woman. My mom would pinch us. I never saw dad pinching my mom or beating my mom or shouting at my mom ever at all. It never happened in my home. Maybe I also didn't travel a lot. I didn't see it. I lived in a place where there was Christian missionaries, Baptist missionaries, and also I didn't see it. I didn't see it anywhere. I never saw violence. I never saw men beating women, ever. And so for me, this was so different. A man is hitting a woman, and I remember even raising it with my teacher, the English teacher then. And I said, do you see what I see? And she would always say, Hannah, concentrate in class. Hannah, look in front. What are you looking outside the window? And those days, if you look outside the window, they used to say, unasomea kwa dirisha. The ones who read looking. But I don't think that's a sin I could avoid. I did raise it with my teacher many, many times. But of course, nothing was done. I don't know if she ever went and talked because it happened every day. This woman used to be beaten. I couldn't hear the scream, but I could see. She probably was screaming. She probably wasn't screaming, but I could see she was in pain because I could see how she's acting. It was right there outside my window. Guys, it happened every day, Monday to Friday. And as I watched this, and by the way, even as an adult, I'll tell you, I haven't seen a lot of violence. That I can tell you for sure. I've seen it in movies. I've really not experienced it firsthand. I've heard about it. I've heard somebody scream, maybe a neighbor here and there somewhere, but I've really not come close to it. So these are not things that I've really, really come close to. But that moment, those things that I experienced, that I saw with my own eyes, they really shaped the person that I became. Because I knew definitely, even as a child, even as a 12-year-old, I knew that was wrong. And of course, after that, because I have studied, I've talked to people, I've been in women groups where violence has been talked about, I know very well that there are some resolves I made, even as a very young girl, that have stood with me even now as a married person. I've been married for 17 years. As someone who's married for 17 years with children, there are things that were shaped. There are some ideas that were shaped because of what I saw. And I learned some things. And the first thing I learned is that silence is actually a decision, and that speaking up is power. Now, I was in 6th grade for a full year, and I tell you, I saw this every single day, as long as I can remember. I'm sure it didn't start when I was in 6th grade. It had started probably before. And I know the reason I didn't see it in 7th grade is because I wasn't in that class. But I can tell you for sure, it probably did continue. So silence is a decision. Speaking up is power. I tell my kids every now and then, when you wake up in the morning, you have the power of choice. You can choose that you're going to have a good day. You can choose that you're going to have a bad day. And whatever you choose, the actions you take are going to make that choice a reality for you. So I kept wondering, now that it's happening with this woman every single day, is she not saying anything about it? Because I'm thinking, if she said something about it to someone, I don't know, a neighbor, something would definitely have been done. So silence is a decision you make. And when you speak up, there's power. And this is power that you give yourself. The other thing I learned was probably financial freedom is necessary. Or rather, even financial independence is necessary so that you can get the freedom. Because, again, this woman would wake up, pour water outside. The man would come out in a shirt as though he was going to work. He would beat her, then he would leave. And he would leave her in the house. As a young girl, that told me the woman didn't go to work. She stayed home. And up to today, those are things that really govern my life or lead my life, because no, I want to work too, right? If working is going to give me freedom, if making my own money is going to give me freedom, because I used to imagine if the lady would wake up and dress up and go to work, maybe the man wouldn't have time to beat her up. I'm just thinking maybe she would wake up very early and leave, and then he would wake up and find nobody to beat. I don't know. That's just me as a 12-year-old thinking. And how has it shaped me that I work with my own hands? I don't want to feel like because the other person is the one providing for me and giving me money, that then they have a right to do whatever they want with me. I don't know. But the lesson for me was that financial independence is actually the thing that gives you freedom. If this woman had her own money, she probably would have gone and rented and lived somewhere else, right? I don't know, because I don't think it was fun for her to be beaten. So maybe she would have gone, rented another place and lived there without this man. The other lesson I learned, and I kept telling myself, love should never hurt. People get married because they love each other. I want to believe that. I still do believe that. But if the person you're married to, whether man or woman, is hurting you, we don't call that love. And I think it would be stupid for someone to think that this person hurts me so bad, beats me every morning because they love me. And so for me, those are things that I knew very well, that if I was ever going to find love with somebody, hurt was not going to be part of the love. The other lesson I picked from there and many other experiences is that you do teach people how to treat you. If the person is going to wake up in the morning, pour water outside, and the man comes out and beats her, I don't know if she was okay with it, but it happened the next day and the next day. Can we also say that maybe he probably thought, I have the ticket to beat her because I beat her yesterday, she's still here today. And the same thing continues, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So I don't know if she thought that if she wakes up, pours the water today, she'll be beaten, and then tomorrow she does the same thing. Maybe she won't be beaten. I don't know. But me, as a 12-year-old, I kept thinking, this evening, can she just leave? When the husband goes to work or the man goes to work, can she just go pack up and leave so that when he comes home, he doesn't find her? Why is she not doing that? And I think you do teach people how to treat you. The other thing I learned is that security is really not happiness. I mean, being secure with somebody because, hey, I'm married, so I'm happy. Oh, I'm secure because somebody is providing for me. I have a roof over my head, so I'm happy. I don't think so. I don't think security and happiness go together. Being strong, strength is not enduring. When you say, I'm strong because I'm enduring in this thing, I don't think that's strength. I think sometimes that could be stupidity. That, hey, I'm going to be over here enduring and going through all the hardships in this marriage, in this relationship, because I'm a strong woman. No, I don't think that's strength. I think there's another way to define strength. And I think strength is speaking up and living and saying, I don't want to live under these circumstances. I'm worth more. I am made for more. I can get more. I can get better. I'm better than this, And then again, the other lesson for me that I would pick is that you are more than someone's title, And I know, I don't know, the title Mrs. and I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy to be someone's wife. It's actually something I love. I don't think that's all I am. Someone's wife, a Mrs. No. I don't think those titles make any sense if you're in a situation where you're not enjoying, you're actually enduring. Think again. If you're in a situation where it really, really hurts, you're in a marriage that really, really hurts, but you want to be there for the title of, I am a Mrs., I am married to this person and this person. I want you to think again, because you are more than someone's title. One of the lessons also is do not normalize pain in love. Don't normalize it. It's not normal. Do not listen to all these people saying, oh, for you in marriage is pain, marriage is challenges. Who said marriage is hardships? Marriage is perseverance. Marriage ni kuvumilia. No. I think there's a confusion. Don't normalize pain in love. Love is not supposed to hurt. It's actually not supposed to hurt. If it's love, it's not supposed to hurt. If it hurts, it's not love. It's actually something totally different. So you want to think again. I don't think that this man loved this woman. even as a 12-year-old, I didn't see any love. If there is love, you will see signs of love. If there is no love, you will see signs of no love. These are the moments that made us. My name is Hannah G, your personal branding coach.